Hello, welcome to a video where we are going to take a look at the Indian Regional Championship. In Europe, America, and South America, we have regional tournaments, international tournaments. In the APAC region, however, they have one tournament. I believe they call it the summer circuit. One tournament per region. I believe we have the APAC region with like Hong Kong, Singapore. We have Indonesia, and we have India as well. And there might be a few more, not that I know everything of, but they have one tournament that has 256 players, right? Just like with a regional that we have in other regions. This is played remotely, and this is in a Swiss format actually. The top 16 of this Swiss tournament goes to a double elimination bracket, which is what we will be looking at today. The format is just Open Great League, and what might be interesting to know is that players can run a different team in the top 16 from what they run in the 256 tournament. Let's take a look at the bracket in the top 16. These are the players that made it. Hot Pot, Jackpot, swept day one. I believe there was like a week or two apart between the top 16 and the Swiss tournament. But he swept that Swiss tournament, and he is obviously in the top bracket. There might be some familiar names here. I don't know everyone. I do know a couple. I know Abhinav, who also played at the NAIC last year. I know Mohit from my community, a really cool guy as well. Scarlet is a pretty well-known Indian battler. Muslim here, Neva Empire. I'm not sure if they're friends, but I've seen them. I've seen them around a lot as well. These are also really good players that I myself know. So this is our top 16 that battled in this tournament. So the team that we'll take a look at from Harish, the Indian champion, is this. It's pretty hard meta, right? I think the Lucky Tongue is the only off-meta pick, really. Lantern, Noctowl, Trevenant is just, really good always. They have polarizing matchups, but they are the hard meta currently. And then Galarian Stunfisk and Medicham complement that really well, obviously. So let's take a look at these battles here. We have Harish versus Nikhil, always first. So I don't know all the teams completely. I basically noted down what I saw. And we see here from Nikhil always also a pretty meta team, but with Sableye and Venusaur. No shadows. Venusaur is pretty off meta, I would say, currently, but those Pokemon are a little bit hard to utilize when there's like, Noctowl, Trev. Well, Sableye also is tough against Lickitung and Noctowl. Venusaur is tough against like Trevenant and Noctowl. So Noctowl is a little bit difficult there to overcome. I don't know what their 6 is. I would not be surprised if it's like Lantern to cover that Noctowl better. Let's take a look at these battles. These are from Harish's perspective. And we have the Noctowl mirror here. I believe looking at the CP from Harish here, he might run an attack-weighted Noctowl. It also has the drip, so I guess that's also kind of cool. Yeah, this is kind of where he wanted. He has the Trevenant in the back, so it's nice to see the Noctowl here. Letting that first one go, let's see. And not taking the chance to check that CMP yet, if he wins that or not. But I reckon that with a 1475 CP Noctowl, you probably will. Next Skytech coming in. I think Harish might just put 2 shields in here just to get rid of it. But doesn't the opponent does shield, brings in Medicham for a pretty big farm down, but not before Harish will get to 2 Skytechs here that will KO. The first one goes through, which is a pretty good call in my opinion, because if you shield that, Harish likely goes for a Shadow Ball on the next one. Does shield the next one. But at this point, Noctowl took out half the team here already, plus a shield. So Trevenant comes back in. It's likely that there might be something like there might be an answer in the back, right? Noctowl is regularly played in an ABB format, such as Noctowl, Medicham, Lantern. Let's take a look what comes in here. And it kind of is, it's a Venusaur in the back. Venusaur, to be honest, is not even the worst against Trevenant. Sludge Bomb would do so much damage, and I believe you can win the 2 shields as Venusaur against Trevenant. But at this point, looks like the Venusaur throws move immediately, and with this chip damage, you might be able to knock it out with some Mudshots and an Earthquake, because Venusaur is quite fragile. Yeah, looks like Harish lets the first move go. You can't take 2 Frenzies here, though, from this range. Overfarming even more, probably just throwing right before the next Frenzy. Could have gone for double rock slide here, which would do a little bit more, but it doesn't matter. It kills anyway. So that's the first game, and Harish wins that first game as well. Let's take a look at the next battle here. Noctowl into Galarian Stunfisk, not great, and you can't really say switch your own in because you will be behind on energy. What you also might notice is sometimes this stutter. So sometimes it looks like, I'm not sure if he gets the fast move through or not. I also think that sometimes Indians are just used to it. They're just used to a worse game state, so they just roll with it, and they become even better with it. So not sure how much of a disadvantage it even is nowadays. And actually catches the next rock slide. It's pretty big. That's pretty big. Probably wants to like bait out a potential Trevenant, but I don't know if the opponent 6th is that Trevenant here. Doesn't really matter though. In comes the Venusaur. I wouldn't expect another Trevenant or something in the back. I would think they have Lantern as well. Anyway, Earthquake coming in. Galarian Stunfisk is just somewhat safer, I would think. Like if Medicham answers it, Medicham still has to throw energy. Otherwise, you will get 2 Earthquakes. Looks like this Venusaur just throws the Frenzy Plant right away again. Take a look what you bring in here. This could be a pretty big farm down for the Medicham. You might have to shoot once though. Looks like Harish decides to go in with Noctowl and actually gets the farm down barely. Take a look. What comes in? It's the Galarian Stunfisk. Oh my god! Wait. Did they swap? Did they swap? I think they swapped into... The opponent catches the Shadow Ball on their Noctowl. That's gross. That's so gross. Ouch. Ouch. That must hurt for Harish. That little bit of chip might get this into Ice Punch range with the counters though, so maybe you can salvage it just a little here, and then there's still the Galarian Stunfisk that doesn't have much energy, so maybe this is okay for Harish. Let's take a look. The problem is though, Noctowl will outpace by 1 wing attack, so they outpace. They should outpace. You shoot this, and I think they should outpace barely. Ooh, they actually swap into the Galarian Stunfisk right away. Interesting choice of play here. See if he can farm this down, I believe. He does. Now trying to catch Skytech, but unable to. Unable to, unfortunately. Good attempt. Good attempt. I'm not sure if they were the Skytech, but it was a good attempt to predict them throwing their charge move there. Because that would win Harish the game. Let's take a look at battle number 3. It's now 1-1 between Harish and Nikhil always. This is the first round only in this tournament. Galarian Stunfisk into Noctowl. And in comes the Sableye save switch. This is so far looking like a classic ABB line from the opponent, with a potential Venusaur in the back if they decide to use that again. Return comes in. You can't take a foul play after this, so you're kind of forced to throw your move here. And honestly, I think Harish might be just fine with that. Take a look. Skytech coming. I think you can farm now with the... Nah, I don't think you can farm now with the Shadow Ball. I'm not sure. Harish isn't sure. Either he's just playing it safe, which I think is very smart. In comes opposing Noctowl again. You can get a Skytech off here because your third one is 5 wing attacks. And look at that. Trying to get the CMP here because Harish, I think, is pretty confident he wins that. Let's take a look. You get to another one here? Barely gets to another Skytech. Actually pretty big. This puts the opposing Noctowl like really low. But they will also get the 2 Shadow Balls. So your Galarian Stunfisk might also get pretty low. Let's take a look. What do you need in the back to win this battle? Opposing Galarian Stunfisk. But it's a Venusaur. There is still some play for Nikhil always, I think. But after this Earthquake, yeah, it goes through as well. I think you just count it down at this point. And the opponent thinks as well. So that's what I also saw more often in these battles. The opponent top lefts if they think it's over. Makes sense, and I respect it because you save us time. So the next opponent is Legacy Xenon in round number 2. I only saw 3 Pokemons here, so not sure what the rest would have been. But these 3 Pokemon are pretty hard meta. We could probably safely assume that the others were like Medicham, Lantern, or something. Let's take a look. We see here the Noctowl lead into the Trevenant. This is beautiful for Harish. So far, he used Noctowl in every single game. And not swapping into Galarian Stunfisk right away here. Just throwing a Skytech first. Chipping this Noctowl before swapping out. I do like that. You don't take too much damage on your own Noctowl. You secure the matchup with your Galarian Stunfisk. And, like, Trevenant's not going to do anything against Noctowl anyway. Like, you could even leave it at 50% HP and, you know, Trevenant still does nothing. And now you only need 2 rock slides here. Throwing right before the next sky attack. I like that. And the opponent is smart, trying to get the CMP with the Galarian Stunfisk. Because Noctowl does win that. And throw the next rock slide. Now you have some energy to throw into that Trevenant as well. Ooh. But the opponent is going to try to flip this, it looks like. Let's see if they can. At this point, you might be able to go straight Sky Attack. If it goes unshielded, you... Yeah, it does go shielded, though. Harish knows he wants that switch. He needs the switch, right? You cannot have your Medi on that Trevenant. And it looks like switch advantage is secured now. It all comes down to what's in the back shortly. Obviously, it's going to be like Noctowl plus something else against one Pokemon, because Trevenant is just useless against the Noctowl. The weak connection, of course, is able to bring it in. And classic RPS. Just Medicham into Galarian Stunfisk. This looks very good. I mean, you probably could have guessed already, because I only have like 3 Pokemon there, right? On Legacy Zenon's line. Yeah. Ice Punch coming through. As you see, as Medicham, you have to throw your move here. Otherwise, Galarian Stunfisk gets to another Earthquake there. And the slide, I'm not sure if he missed bubbles because of a frame drop, or if he did that on purpose. He doesn't want to give Trevenant any farm. I mean, I think Trevenant's like 5 C-bombs, so it might not even matter. Yeah, at this point, it's just over. Looks like Harish is not even going to throw a move. Opponent is. I think got denied a fast move again. Shadow Ball actually does a little bit more than C-bomb, more efficient there, but yeah, it doesn't matter. This a matchup you don't overcome. Let's take a look at game number 2, maybe more interesting. Does look more interesting so far, because he leads his Galarian Stunfisk into the Trevenant. And this is, I think, what Harish doesn't mind, because he just needs to avoid the Trevenant with his Medicham. And he kind of does here. Obviously, you would love to have Noctowl on this, but it is what it is. First Shadow Ball lands, but Harish should get the 2 Rock Slides, no problem. And that will put Trevenant pretty low, like 15% HP. Look at those Rock Slides. Yep, look, pretty low. At this point, the Trevenant is not really a threat anymore. You could even farm it down with Medicham later stage. You don't want to do that now, of course. Otherwise, you might get Shadow Ball. But yeah, you get a Wing Attack and you farm it down even. Then comes Galarian Stunfisk. Staying in for a little bit. Interesting. Just chipping it with a Shadow Ball. I don't hate that. Okay. Looks like he's just going to play this out. I would expect catches the Rock Slide, actually. That's a pretty good catch. That's a pretty good catch. Because this is resisted, does nothing on the Medicham. In the back is the Noctowl. Yeah, I mean, there's 3 Pokemon on the line that I've noted down, so it makes sense there's Noctowl. And again, on even energy, Noctowl will outpace to the 3rd move. He wins CMP against his Noctowl, as we see here. So it's a defense-weighted Noctowl. And in that case, Medicham does okay-ish against in like the 1 shoots here. Because as we can see, the Noctowl gets pretty low. Opponent not throwing the move immediately, knowing they lose the CMP here, so they can farm up a little bit more. But they only do 1 more Wing Attack. Okay. And Harish actually decides to shoot. Oh, wait. Hold up. Let him cook. Yeah, that's what I thought. Preserving that Medicham, taking the Sky Attack here, which does about as much as a Rock Slide, really. Can you farm this down? I think you can farm the Noctowl down, but opponent's barely able to swap out. Now you can get to the Shadow Balls, and the Galarian Stunfisk wasted energy before, right? With the Rock Slide. Does get shielded, but you get to another one here. But going for the CMP, this is big, because I think Galarian Stunfisk could have built up so much more energy here, right? The Wing Attacks just don't do much. I'm not sure, actually, if he could have farmed up so much. But yeah, nonetheless, Harish just makes sure that this thing is now depleted of energy. Comes out with a Psychic. I think the Noctowl's like 1 HP, but this will definitely make sure that that Noctowl goes down. And that's a 2-0 win for Harish in round number 2 against Legacy Zenon. Well played. So far, he used Noctowl in every single game. Next matchup, Scarlet Wiz, who's running an interesting team of Shadow Charizard and Mantine. I'm not sure if I like it so much. The thing is, you can't really play even ABB probably with them. If there's a Lantern on the opposing team, those two are just really not attractive to run. Let me say it like that, right? Because if either Mantine or Zard gets on that Lantern, is so yeah, it's tough. Like at least Noctowl can hit back with Shadow Balls, and I guess Charizard can hit Blast Burn, but it's not ideal. Noctowl into Trevenant. We see Noctowl again. We see Trevenant again. Running the big three. A big three here. The big three will be Trevenant instead of the Galarian Stunfisk here, but it's still a big three of the hard meta. And yeah, it looks like this is just alignment you're getting here. He's playing somewhat ABB against Trevenant. However, if he baits out Medicham with that Galarian Stunfisk safe switch, doesn't matter for now, of course. This Registeel is actually pretty annoying because it can get really close with these matchups. A good Registeel wins the 0 shields with this slide, with just 1 lock-on advantage here. Actually goes for Zap Cannon to debuff, which is even more annoying because now you cannot match it down. You have to throw a Rock Slide. It even gets shielded? Looks like Scarlet Wiz trying to flip this. This won't KO. Yeah, because of that debuff. Can you lock on down, actually? I've never seen it play like this. Never ever. Another attack drop. Barely gets to the Rock Slide here. I think one more lock-on would have taken out this Galarian Stunfisk. Really good attempt by Scarlet Wiz. But Harish's Galarian Stunfisk is just barely good enough. In comes Mantine. Yeah, we have Lantern. Mantine is actually an interesting pick for Scarlet Wiz here. Because, like, it beats Trevenant, Noctowl, and Medicham. That's pretty good. Yeah, in comes the Noctowl and the Trevenant. This is just big old RPS. Big old RPS. A little bit defining for the current meta. Yeah. Not much to say about that. I think that was an interesting Galarian Stunfisk Registeel matchup. But yeah, the fact that Scarlet Wiz wasn't able to flip that was just over for him. Next battle. Oh boy. Staying in a little bit this time. This is not the same battle, is it? Oh man, did I put the same battle in accidentally? I don't want to start over again. Let's take a look. No, this time he shields immediately. This time he shields. Okay, it's not the same battle. Not the same battle. Let's take a look. Earthquake coming through. Let's get shielded as well. Does not get shielded. I think Harish just doesn't want to get Zap Cannon again because that made the matchup so annoying. Now you can take a Focus Blast, take it out with a Rock Slide before it gets to the next one. Maybe even farm down. I'm not sure if you can. He's not going to take his chances. That makes sense. Yeah. I guess Trevenant comes back. Oh, Galarian Stunfisk. They're running double steal. Okay, okay. Take a look. Earthquake coming in. I reckon this gets shoot. It looks like Scarlet Wiz is just sick of Trevenant against Noctowl, so, because this is over. I think at this point Harish just keeps the shield for Noctowl. This thing is so low now. Why do you call a move here? I think you may not even have been in a bad spot if you shield the Galarian Stunfisk there, right? You would have energy advantage against this Lantern. And maybe you could core break that Noctowl Lantern core. But yeah, this point is just over, and Scarlet Wiz knows. Interesting no shield. I mean, it's pretty demoralizing when you lead your Trevenant into Noctowl twice. Next battle, Harish versus Akhilesh Varma, and this is somewhat of a team. It's a team. That's what it is. Bastion, Shadow, Alolan Ninetales. If you pair it well, it's probably Charm. Deoxys, which is interesting. It's a little bit better against the Noctowl, I guess. And that's, I think, what Akhilesh Varma is trying to do here. Just counter Noctowl really hard, right? With Shadow, Alolan Ninetales, although it doesn't even do that well with Charm. Bastion and Lantern. I believe this is the winner's final of the tournament. So far, Harish is unbeaten in the top 16. Yeah, let's take a look. Akhilesh had a Bastion Victory Bell core in the Swiss format, so gives you a little bit of an idea of what kind of teams he likes. But however, he throws a Sky Attack immediately, and Harish catches on his Galarian Stunfisk here. Which makes sense because he's playing like ABB against what's it called? Against like Bastiodon, and he's double strong against the Noctowl on the back. So obviously Harish wants his Pokemon elsewhere. And this is not even the worst for Galarian Stunfisk, just because these charge moves do nothing. They're all double resisted or Psycho Boost, which is single resisted, but will debuff the Deoxys. Take a look here. Earthquake coming through. Boom. Shielded, however. Take a look. Come back in with the Noctowl, which, very smart by Harish, throws immediately, wins CMP. I believe Noctowl is like 104 attack, Deoxys 95, I think? I think 95. And also shields the Thunderbolt. Okay. Try to just preserve some HP, but look at that. Because Deoxys has such high defense, it will get to another move here. It's not like Medicham. The wing attacks are not super effective. Shadow Ball is, but the wing attacks are not. Alright, comes out with a lot of energy here though, so that's nice. And then comes opposing Noctowl. What could be in the back here? If it's Trevenant, it's really, really tough at this point. And does catch another Sky Attack? Okay. Maybe, perhaps. It is the Trevenant. However, opposing Noctowl now has no energy anymore. But let's see. The Lantern is completely walled here. Alright, I love this core of Noctowl, Lantern, Trevenant. C-Bomb comes in. I think this might barely not kill. Can you get a Surf off? Yeah. Oh my. Tried to go for a Thunderbolt. Threw another Spark there. Now you can farm down to get to 2 Sky Attacks again. And will 2 Sky Attacks take it out? I don't know how much energy this has. Ooh, the next C-Bomb. Oh, looks like Harish is just looking to take this out immediately. Interesting. Okay. Interesting play. I thought maybe you could farm it down. Maybe the Trevenant had so much energy and Harish didn't want to take another C-Bomb or even Shadow Ball. And, oof. I don't know if you could have, but if you could have reached 2 Sky Attacks here. That would have won the game otherwise. Yeah, tough. I mean, he played really well for what was a pretty hard counter matchup as well, right? So, tough one for Harish. Let's take a look at game number 2 here. Deoxys. And again, every single match, Harish has used that Noctowl, despite there being an Alolan Ninetales, a Lantern, and a Bastiodon on the opposing team. He keeps bringing Noctowl. Maybe because it has the drip? Thunderbolt coming in. This is just the same team from Harish. Probably trying to bait out the Trevenant with that Galarian Stunfisk. Trying to catch. Unable to. And there is that Trevenant. Now you have so much energy on that Noctowl, but so the Deoxys also has so much energy as well. So it's kind of difficult because Lantern doesn't take it that well. Let's take a look. Another move coming in. It's only a Seed Bomb, not a Shadow Ball. Which I don't hate per se, just going straight Seed Bomb. But you might live this one. You might live this. One thing that I noticed about Harish, he's really looking to like those strategies where he farms down Trevenant with Noctowl and uses that energy everywhere. And that's what he's doing again. He's not throwing his move, he's undercharging just because he wants energy on Noctowl. Not sure how useful that is if there is a Bastion on the back, but let's take a look. I think the opponent's also really playing to that, right? They're like bringing Medicham answers every time. They're so they feel so safe. They feel so safe bringing Trevenant. And look at that, the charge move doesn't even pop up, so he can't even throw his move into Deoxys to win CMP. In comes another move. Let's take a look. Is this Psycho Boost? I would assume it is. It's a Thunderbolt even. And in the back is Noctowl. Hold up, there might be some play here for Harish still. This is looking bad. This is looking pretty bad. But fun fact about this matchup, I'm not sure if you still can after taking the Thunderbolt. You can win the 0 to 2 shields with Lantern if you double bait the Surf. Going for another Surf here. Oh, barely not able to get the Thunderbolt. That's a shame. However, you have a lot of energy on that Noctowl, so there might be still a play. He has 2 moves here. All right. 1 wing attack snuck through already. And going for the next one, does this KO the opposing Noctowl? Barely does. Barely. Just barely. Really close game played by Harish there. Very well played. No Bastion from the opponent. No Alola Ninetales either. I think the opponent is just expecting Galarian Stunfisk every single time. Maybe even the Medicham. I don't know. Interesting. Next battle. Galarian Stunfisk into Lantern from the opponent. If it's Water Gun, it's Spark. It's a Sparky. Which is not the worst, I guess. And this time Harish decides to bring his own Trevenant for that Deoxys. Deoxys has been causing a lot of trouble for Harish. And looks like he's trying to answer it a little bit better. Going for that first Earthquake. This won't KO Lantern yet if you have a good rank. But it will allow Galarian Stunfisk to farm you down. But going to shield that first. Lantern can get really annoying in this matchup when it correctly shields all these Earthquakes. Yeah, but the sparks just don't add up enough here. Trying to catch on Deoxys, but really good patience by Harish there and swapping in Trevenant just right away. I like that a lot. Really does here. Also, excuse me, Lantern lead with the with Deoxys in the back, like a Trevenant lead would have annihilated this team as well. Going for the Seed Bomb, and I think that's because Harish might be expecting a Noctowl in the back, and he doesn't want to get farmed down. That's what Harish has been doing this whole time himself, and he doesn't want the opponent to do that because he knows how good that strategy could be. A full Psycho Boost coming through, and now Harish is fine with the Noctowl potentially farming down. But it is the Trevenant in the back, and look what we have here. It's the Noctowl. Trevenant staying in a little bit, throwing a Seed Bomb. I think Akhilesh Varma wants to like throw this Noctowl off. Now swapping into the Lantern, and it's called immediately by this Earthquake from the Galarian Stunfisk. And the Sparks just are double resistance, don't do anything here. I think you just get to another one. Yeah, that seals the deal, because this will KO from here. Very well played from Harish. Also, bringing that Trevenant was just basically key. There was no Noctowl from Akhilesh Varma this time, so Trevenant was just free. Really free. And no Bastion, no A9 from Akhilesh Varma as well. Interesting. Anyway, that was the winners final. We're now going to the grand finals against... Look who it is. It's Scarlet Wiz again. The guy he RPS'd really bad when he led Noctowl twice into Trevenant. Take a look at how this grand final is going to do with these two. Galarian Stunfisk into Mantine. This is exactly where Harish wants to see this. This is somewhat of a positive matchup, but I believe Mantine can win it if it shields the first two Rock Slides and debuffs just right off the bat. Well, he's doing step 1 already. Step 2, shield every single Rock Slide. Looks like Harish is going for the switch advantage, I guess. There must be something like Lantern answers in the back from... sorry, Scarlet Wiz going for the switch advantage. There must be like Lantern answers in the back, right? Because Mantine is very weak to it. But look at how little those Rock Slides do now. Another debuff coming in. This won't do much, this Ball Beam. But your Rock Slides won't do much either. What do we expect here? Maybe ooh. What do you even have to cover the Lantern well? There must be Trevenant in the back. If it is the Trevenant, then I'm guessing Scarlet Wiz is just fine with this swapping in. This Mantine is so annoying. Take a look. Is this Ball Beam or Ice Beam? It's an Ice Beam. Good shield by Harish. In comes that Galarian Stunfisk. I think... Wow. Look at those frame drops. I think it's gotta be that Trevenant in the back. And tries to catch, but Scarlet Wiz is not moving anymore. Earthquake coming through. Yeah, I think Scarlet Wiz has... Oh, he's back. Never mind, he's back. It's Medicham. Mantine Medicham. Interesting. And Galarian Stunfisk, okay. I think he just brought basically some of his strongest against the Noctowl. I mean, Medicham to cover the Galarian Stunfisk, I guess. But because he got RPS so bad in their first matchup, I'm guessing that Scarlet Wiz really anticipates to that Noctowl now. Alright, shielding this move here. This is somewhat interesting. I'm not sure if this will get disputed. Sea bomb coming in. This won't take out just yet. Oh, it will. It will. Never mind. Never mind. And the claws will take it down. I don't know if how disputes work in the summer circuit regionals. I reckon that they have TOs who look at that. Regardless, that was the first game that we had here. Let's take a look at the next battle. We have Noctowl into Mantine. Pretty bad lead for Harish. Not the worst, but he has two better answers in the back. It looks like this is annoying about Mantine lead, because if you swap something else into it, Mantine can just debuff and then swap out. But the Mantine is staying in. Interesting choice of play. Shields the move right away. Maybe it's something like double steal from Scarlet Wiz. Maybe they have something better against. And Harish is playing it really safe. Doesn't want to get his Rock Slide caught on anything like an opposing Galarian Stunfisk. I don't know. I feel like Scarlet Wiz just using that Mantine to debuff and debuff and debuff. I think this will do so little damage. Yeah, it does nothing. The Ball Beam almost does about as much. And Ball Beam comes out just as quick. Harish not throwing on that CMP over there. Yeah. It looks like Mantine is just going to win the 1-2-0 shields here. Yeah. Able to barely farm it down. So now, yeah, in comes the Lantern. I'm guessing that's also what Scarlet Wiz expected. In comes their Galarian Stunfisk. Harish doesn't really have a good answer here anymore. In fact, he didn't bring Galarian Stunfisk answer at all. And Scarlet Wiz just really anticipating to that Noctowl Lantern Core, so he just... Oh my goodness, gets the bait as well. That really hurts. I think Scarlet Wiz just really recognized the value of the Galarian Stunfisk there. But doesn't shield that. You have the back. Oh, catches the move! Hold up. Let him cook. It's only a Rock Slide though. It is super effective Rock Slide. What's in the back? Show me. Another move coming in. Do you shield this as Harish? No. Probably expecting right now. The Mantine comes in again. I have no idea. And it is the Registeel. Barely doesn't get to the Shadow Ball. It's Mantine double steal. A classic. If you're Scarlet Wiz, I would shield this just because you might debuff on this next Zap Cannon. And he does shield that. I think that's a good play. Yeah, and I think at this point it's just really difficult for Harish. One Zap Cannon won't take out yet though, but the sparks just don't add up enough, especially after a debuff. You still have a shield, but it doesn't really matter, I think. Yeah, Thunderbolt is gonna come through here. Doesn't even get the Reggie under half. The sparks after do, but this is just over. Like, Harish still going to try and see how far he can get. Another attack drop. We are almost getting a timeout here. Yeah, no, he's not throwing his move anymore. Maybe trying to get 2 serves, but Reggie just spaced a little bit too fast. Get to another move there, and that's 1-1. Time's up as well. Yeah, that's what Mantine does. Take a look at game number 3 in this Grand Finals. I believe this tournament took quite a while, but this is a tough lead for Harish. Again, that annoying Galarian Stunfisk he didn't bring an answer to. His only answers are the Medicham and the Trenum, but they both lose to the Mantine that I guess Harish kind of fears here. And Scarlet Wiz has proven that he knows how that thing works. Shadow Ball comes in. Does good neutral damage. Tries to catch a Rock Slide, but unsuccessfully this time. Let's take a look. What's Scarlet Wiz going to do? It looks like Scarlet Wiz didn't bring the Trevenant or the Medicham either. It's gotta be the Mantine in the back, right? That doesn't kill yet. This is a pretty good Galarian Stunfisk, I think. Yeah, it looks like Scarlet Wiz is just fighting for switch advantage now as well. Just wants something else aligned to the Noctowl. I would think it's Mantine again. Comes with the Noctowl and takes another Rock Slide. What do you need to win this game now? If it's Mantine in the back, it's gonna be 1 versus 1 here, because like Mantine does nothing against Noctowl. Sorry, does nothing against Lantern. In comes that Mantine and the back is Trevenant, yeah. Really, really good read by Scarlet Wiz, recognizing, oh, he's going to do that again, trying to farm down my Trevenant with my with your Noctowl. If I bring it into Galarian Stunfisk, I'm not falling for that. He just knew what Harish has been doing this whole time. So far, pretty much one of the very few opponents who's been able to read that play from Harish. I guess that's what you get when you play like 6 battles so far. Yeah. Which means that Harish loses this battle. And that means Scarlet Wiz is the winner of the Indian Regional. That's what they thought at first. However, after consulting, I believe there was... the next day, there was the bracket reset. They played the bracket reset matchup. And that means that we'll have another best out of 3. We don't have best out of 5, just like with the play Pokemon tournaments in Europe, LATAM, and NA, and Oceania. This is just a best out of 3, a bracket reset between Harish and Scarlet Wiz. So at first, it looked like Scarlet Wiz had it all because they weren't sure they were doing a bracket reset. Now it looked like they do. And we'll have another best out of 3 between Harish and Scarlet Wiz. This is their 6th battle. This is their 6th battle, right? Because first Harish won 2-0 by RPS. Like big RPS, the Trevenant on the Noctowl. Or started the Noctowl on the Trevenant twice. And then Scarlet Wiz finally was able to read Harish as one of the very few players and managed to win 2-1. Despite lagging out that first game. I'm not sure how decisive that was. Anyway, let's talk about this battle here. Harish is staying in with that Lantern into the Galarian Stunfisk because he has the Noctowl on the back as well. I think Harish brought Noctowl every single game so far. Definitely his MVP, I think. This will take it out, and I think now he can bring in the Trevenant. But if there's a Noctowl... Oh wait, there is no Noctowl on Scarlet's team. It's probably that Mantine again. It's that Mantine probably, right? We haven't seen the Shadow Charizard yet from Scarlet Wiz. Not sure if he brings that anyway, because it doesn't have many targets. Basically, the targets that Shadow Charizard has are the same targets the Mantine has. In comes his own Trevenant, goes for the Shadow Ball here to get a shield probably. It does get shielded. Now the Noctowl has a shield advantage against the Medicham in the back. Oh my, what a misread from Scarlet Wiz here. I guess Scarlet Wiz probably thought that there's no way he brings Noctowl again after I countered it so well every single time in that first Grand Finals matchup. But there it is again, the Noctowl. And it's going to sweep this Medicham plus Trevenant backline. Has nothing on those two. Even no shielded that move, that definitely wasn't necessary, but he does it anyway, and that's a pretty good flex, yeah. I wouldn't say that was super RPS, but because, like, Galarian Stunfisk does core break that Lantern Noctowl core, I think it was just a really misread from Scarlet Wiz's side. Harish just going with his trusted Pokemon. He hasn't used a Lickitung even once, I believe. But the trusted Pokemon are just paving his way to victory. Let's take a look at game number 2 in the bracket reset. If Scarlet Wiz wins this, the Lantern into Mantine, then he wins this whole, then he wins the Indian Regional Championship. Let's see. Surf coming through, does get shield right away, then goes into the Trevenant. I like this play a lot from Harish. So far it's looking very good for him. What could be in the backer? If it's Trevenant, is that good old RPS again? And it might be, but let's take a look. Next Rock Slide gets shielded. Probably just doesn't want to take any risk. There's no shot he's letting that Lantern off that Mantine. And if it is the Trevenant in the back, then this is a very clean sweep. In that bracket reset match. Let's take a look. Next move gets shielded as well. Makes perfect sense because you just want your Lantern on that Mantine. I would have done the same. Just makes sense. Sometimes alignment is just so important in open, especially in Open Great League. Shadow Ball comes through, makes sense. Harish just recognizes that there's no value in this Mantine. I highly doubt this gets shielded as well. Yeah. In the back, Trevenant. And top left's the grand final, and that makes Harish our Indian regional champion. Well played, Harish. Thank you for sending in these battles. That was a lot of Noctowl play, and I guess really gave some insight in how strong Noctowl is, even in some of his worst matchups, I don't think it was aligned to any Registry or a Lantern a lot or at all. But regardless, like baiting out a Trevenant, farming it down, and then having that flexible energy, I think it was a really good, solid strategy for Harish that got him to this deserved championship. So thank you for sending in these battles. Thank you for letting me make a video of this. Hope you liked the video and have a good one.